Married at First Sight Season 18's reunions and another difficult piece of the puzzle, leaving me thinking about what I want to see moving forward. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Married at First Sight Season 18 has been a roller coaster of emotions that viewers were excited to unpack during the reunion. But I think MAF's reunions need to make some major changes moving forward to be even juicier. Married at First Sight Season 18 hasn't been the most scandalous season of the series to date, but there's been a lot of drama between the cast members regardless of who they were married to during the time of filming. With so much going on, the cast members have been brought to the MAF's reunion stage to unpack their on-screen behavior together. As is usual for Married at First Sight and other reality TV dating shows, the reunion episodes are pivotal for the season's understandability. While drama has unfolded on Married at First Sight throughout the season, there are always lingering questions about what's gone on between the cast members that hasn't been addressed on camera. Having spent so much time together, Married at First Sight Season 18's cast members have a lot to share about one another and their time on the show, as their experiences aren't always able to make it into an on-screen narrative that makes sense to viewers. Throughout the history of Married at First Sight, things have consistently changed in the show's DNA makeup. From the shift from participants not being able to interact with one another to supporting each other in their marriages, to the changes in the MAF's expert panel over the years, there are typically changes happening on the show from season to season. Married at First Sight viewers are used to things shifting, but I'm always left wanting more from the MAF's reunion episodes. Regardless of the season, I've never felt the MAF's reunions give us the closure they're meant to provide. Even with the cast members coming together to rehash the drama, I've always felt that MAF's reunions are often too far out from the season's filming to remember things properly. On top of that, cast members have been able to understand how viewers are perceiving them, which gives them the opportunity to answer in ways that make them look better rather than leading with authenticity. While there have been some interesting moments in the reunions over the years, I'd be interested in seeing a complete overhaul for the MAF's reunion episodes, implementing some major changes in the format and style. MAF's reunions should feature an earlier check-in. Typically, MAF's reunions are filmed roughly a year after the filming for the season ends. While I understand the rationale behind it, I want to see a far earlier check-in with the cast before the reunion episode's standard one-year mark. With so much happening during a show's filming, checking in at different intervals after filming has ended would make sense to ensure that the reunion episodes aren't relying solely on cast members, who may not be entirely honest, to explain what's been happening in their lives. Instead, I'd like to see earlier check-ins that provide context before the big show. If Married at First Sight reunions began with a 3-month or 6-month check-in with the experts, which could be far less formal than the sit-down reunion that viewers then see with a formal host, there may be a lot less confusion. Each couple would have the chance to come in together if they chose to stay married at decision day, or separately if they chose to divorce, to check in with the experts and share where they are. This would incorporate the experts more easily and give the audience an idea of where the MAF's reunion itself is headed. MAF's reunions should be hosted by Juicier Knight Pulliam. Although I love current Married at First Sight reunion host Kevin Frazier, I think the reunions being hosted by a completely separate outside party can come off a bit strange. Throughout MAF's run, it's been clear that there are a lot of hands that go into the series. With Married at First Sight's after party being hosted by Juicier Knight Pulliam throughout the season, I think it makes a lot more sense to have her come in to host the reunion episodes. While long-standing MAF's viewers are familiar with Kevin, Juicier is the one who's hosting the after show each week. Bringing Juicier into the fold doesn't necessarily mean that Kevin would have to leave Married at First Sight entirely either. While I enjoy Juicier and think she'd be a great way to bring the cast members into the reunion with a few less nerves, Kevin could still be a great asset to the reunions. If Juicier and Kevin could work together in a way, potentially co-hosting the reunion episodes, there would be a familiar face who's been dealing with the cast all season and someone who's more of an outsider, offering a broader perspective for the cast to bounce off. MAF's reunions should bring the receipts. Typically, Married at First Sight reunions tend to be some of the more straightforward episodes of the season, which is sometimes a letdown for viewers. While MAFS is known for a certain brand of drama, the reunions are often a lot less heated than they seem like they should be. With all of the drama of the season being unpacked, I often find Married at First Sight reunions to be less cathartic than other reality TV reunions, as they tend to gloss over the major dramas and moments of the season without diving into them thoroughly enough for my taste. In the future, Married at First Sight reunions shouldn't be afraid to bring the receipts to the table and call cast members out for their behavior. While host Kevin does this in some ways, it's often with a lighter touch than I'd expect for a reality TV reunion. Rather than letting cast members off the hook for the way they've behaved, even if it's in the past, I'd love to see receipts, clips, timestamps, and anything the MAS team can rustle up that doesn't allow cast members to skirt by their actions, which were often painful for other cast members. MAF's reunions should ask more of the burning questions. With Married at First Sight reunions often catering to the drama from couple to couple rather than cast member to cast member, I think a lot gets lost in the shuffle. While there are moments where host Kevin has asked the burning questions of each season, there's often a lot more filler within reunion episodes than substance. Obviously, not everything can be hard-hitting or in-depth content, but I'd love to see more about the biggest dramas of the season, even if they were polarizing. I often feel like MAF's cast members are being thrown softball questions rather than being pushed. Rather than letting the cast members off the hook and asking them questions they have easy answers for, I'd love the series to push cast members to get into the nitty-gritty of Married at First Sight. While this could also be accomplished by providing an earlier check-in to get the cast members used to answering more difficult questions about their relationships, I'd love to see the reunions incorporate some of the bigger questions for cast members. I want to know why they behaved in certain ways, or what led them to make specific decisions, rather than simply addressing the fallout. MAF's reunions should feature the experts more. The Married at First Sight reunions often only feature the experts for a minor portion of the show, and in a two-part episode that looks to unpack what happened throughout the season, I think this is a misstep. While the experts aren't the most present during MAFS seasons either, I think it's a mistake to have them isolated to a short piece of the reunion where they often don't really do much other than congratulate or console cast members. The MAFS experts are the onus of why the couples were matched, and I think that warrants far more screen time. I'd love to see a reunion that incorporates more expert participation. First, I'd love to see them checking in with the cast members ahead of the reunion, even if it's in just a few moments. I'd also love to see the experts answer to each couple why they felt they'd be compatible with the person they were matched with, whether they chose each other or not. I think hearing the experts' rationale would be interesting, and would allow participants the chance to ask questions. Finally, seeing the experts weigh in on the season as usual would still come into play. MAF's reunions should be structured like After Party. Although Married at First Sight reunions are meant to have a different tone than the after show, I think incorporating elements of Married at First Sight, After Party into the reunion would be beneficial. On top of bringing Keshia into the reunion fold, I'd love to see more participants come into the reunion once the main points of the season have been covered. One of my favorite parts of After Party is the fact that outside perspective can be really beneficial to telling the story of the season. Bringing MAF's alumni into the reunion, albeit in a minor way, could be interesting. Though I don't know how frequently it would work, I think bringing elements of After Party, like panel discussion, into the reunion could be an interesting thing to try. While the cast members of the season would be the priority, allowing people who have been through the same situation and have some similar perspective could be great to help explain and process what's happened each season. Married at First Sight reunions already offer a lot of insight into what's happened on screen, but deepening that understanding and allowing for more depth to come from the reunions would improve them tenfold.